What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to CM Aviation. Hope you're having a fantastic day today, and today we have a very exciting video for you all. Today we're going to be taking a look at some new GeminiJets Future Releases here today. Normally I wouldn't do this, but this Future Release set was absolutely incredible. There are some really monumental new aircraft on here, along with some new eras, to be completely honest. So this is going to be really cool, and I'm really excited to check this out. So we're here on the website, and they're posted on the homepage, so you can refer to them here. But nevertheless, like I said, this is really monumental. So let's not waste any additional time and just go ahead and get started. And this is a pretty long list, so we'll just go kind of two at a time here and just start working down the list. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with the 1:400 scale as usual, starting with this Air Canada A320. And there are no registrations, of course, that we can visually see. The CGIs are not quite high res enough, but we can get the point. So really happy to see Air Canada A320. There's been a couple done, but always great to see Gemini get their take on it. So that's going to be cool. We also have the revised United States Air Force One Boeing 747-8I. I think it looks really cool, so always glad to see them doing these US themed planes and really any government planes that is. So this is going to be another cool one, so definitely excited to see that. Looks pretty nice. We're going to get a brand new BAC 111-200. So there's several retro aircraft in here that, like I said, are really monumental. Several that have been requested over time or not done in a long time or only done by Aero Classics. So many credentials and buckets that all that falls into. But regarding the brand new BAC 111, this is a very popular aircraft that, especially in the brand the revised brand new livery, I should say, that's going to be very popular among those retro collectors. So once again, really cool. And another major note on this one is that I don't think they've done a BAC 111 in a very, very, very long time. So in fact, if you all give me just a moment here, thank you to the model aircraft database, which I always love to highlight. They're really good at what they do, and they have great information over there. So definitely check them out. But if I put in GeminiJets here real quick on the BAC 111, let me see if I can find this. The last time that they did one was in May of 2010 in the 1:400 scale. So if that doesn't tell you how monumental this is 15 years later, I don't know what does. So that's super impressive to see. Really cool. They've only done a total of 9 ever BAC aircraft, the different 111 variants. So this is really neat, and I think it's so substantial for so many reasons. So really great. Check that out, and definitely check out that model aircraft database. Our next aircraft is the BWIA Boeing 727-100, another really unique aircraft here, continuing to expand those retro realms. I think many collectors are going to like this. I like the livery on this one too. So another aircraft that really makes quite a bit of sense. So certainly very happy to see that. Wildcat Diecast has some of the best model aircraft deals out there. From great prices to all the brands to free shipping, Wildcat Diecast has you covered. This model aircraft retailer is a game changer and saves you money with every order. Save even more money with discount code CM Aviation for 10% off. Be sure to check out Wildcat Diecast and bring those amazing deals to your model aircraft collection today. We have a pair of two beautiful Lufthansa aircraft, starting with the narrow bodies, the A319, and I'm really happy to see this. I've flown one. They're cool aircraft, so always nice. Now, JC Wings and some of the other companies have done this plenty of times, but as usual, it's great to see Gemini to get their take on it. And then a very popular release from 2018 or 19, the new livery Lufthansa Airbus A340-600, a very nice aircraft right there. And again, other companies have done this, but it's great to see Gemini get their take on it. And one big advantage that GeminiJets always has over all the other manufacturers is, generally speaking, they're much more accessible, so it's easier to find retailers that have these aircraft. So that's a big note. So love to see that, and that's a great Lufthansa pair and very, very special. And then down the list here, we'll also see the new livery 787 special for, I think it's their Centennial, along with American, which I'm going to make a video on that too. So looking great. Another very unique aircraft right here. This appears to be an Iran Air Boeing 747-100 in the CGI, but the title list SP. So I'm not sure which is which, or if they intend to do both. We are going to go with the CGI. I think that's probably what they meant, so probably just a normal error here. But anyway, 747-100, another aircraft that is rarely done, and Gemini does not do many 747-100s in 1:400 scale. Let's see when the last one that was done was. So if we go to 747-100, I did not think it was this long. It's been since December of 2015 when they did a Pan Am example. So without a doubt, well overdue, and I'm really excited to see them do this. They've only done 20 of the 747-100s, so it's definitely going to be an exciting time to see that. So definitely really happy to see that. And then we have the Mexicana Embraer ERJ-195E2. This is a beautiful looking aircraft, and very happy to see GeminiJets exercising the potential of the E2 to its fullest. So very happy to see the first Mexico example to my knowledge. We've obviously got the, let's see, it was the Azul and the Porter, of course, and then at some point, hopefully a Velo. But anyway, great looking aircraft and definitely great to expand that regional jet lineup. Two absolutely monumental aircraft next. The Northwest in the Orient livery-ish, I'm not sure exactly which version this is, Boeing 727-200. I don't even know if this one's been done in the 1/400 scale with this livery, but regardless of the case, this is going to be highly anticipated among many collectors. A very iconic Northwest livery, and I'm very excited to see those collectors super excited about that. So that one is absolutely monumental there on your left. And on your right, you had the Pan Am Boeing 727-200 with the large billboard titles. So another aircraft that, once again, Dragon Wings did this previously. GeminiJets maybe did it a long time ago, but regardless of the case, to get a newer version with antennas and whatnot is monumental. So if you can't tell, GeminiJets is really eyeing in on the Boeing 727 family. So it's great to get these hints early on, and now we can look forward to these in future releases. So really covering some of the iconic ages for many retro collectors with those two aircraft. Now it's time to move into another round of interesting pairings. We have the Qantas Airlines Boeing 787-9 DM Dreaming aircraft, another one that is really cool that they were able to get licensed and will get produced here. So great to see this. There have been a couple other versions over time, but nevertheless, Gemini's will look really nice, and I'm excited to see how they do with that. And that's a big aircraft, very similar to the Lufthansa 346, very easy to get your hands on. And then a absolutely monumental aircraft to go with the Boeing 727s and with the Boeing 747 SP and with the BAC 111, a Southern Airways DC 915. So first and foremost, let's start with this. The Doubles DC 9 has not been made by GeminiJets since September of 2010. So yet another example, just like the BAC 111, that has not been made in 15 years. They've only ever made 16 DC 9s, so this is even more monumental. But to get even more particular, if we want to go on sub-variants of this being the DC 915, if I filter out DC 910s, GeminiJets has never made a DC 910. So absolutely monumental to think about what's happening. GeminiJets has only ever made the Dash 30 variants. They haven't even made a 40 or a 50. So this is monumental, and this is really exciting for GeminiJets to look at this new era. I know there's many collectors, and myself included, that are super interested in some newer, high quality DC 9 aircraft. And with that being said, it's so important to think about, you know, what goes with that. So I'm super excited for Gemini. I think this is really a monumental moment, and this will really give Aero Classics a run for their money in the long term if they use this consistently. So this is just the beginning. Who knows? I know JJ certainly has many thoughts on that, so definitely check out his video. But that is a very exciting aircraft there. There's no doubt about that. So really cool to see that. Our next pairing is very interesting. We have a UAE C-17. So really cool to see this. I don't think they've ever made an aircraft like this. So I think that this is going to be a really unique aspect to many collections. So definitely really cool to see that. I think once again, it's going to be a very cool aircraft. I'll go ahead and zoom in just a little bit more so you all can see them a little bit closer up now. And then we also have the Ohio Air National Guard with the cool tail KC-135. I really like this aircraft, definitely one that I would consider for sure, and great to have these unique KC-135s after a really solid round of standard ones. So very happy with the variety here. This is just tremendous. Now we take it in the 1/200 scale, where it's even more interesting. In American Airlines Boeing 747 SP, JC Wings and NG have previously done the 1/400, so it makes perfect sense for Gemini to do this 1/200, a very popular aircraft, and just overall, this is really going to change the game. So I'm very excited to see what that's going to look like, and that's going to be really cool. Air Canada A320, once again, great. I think in-flight maybe he's done it once, but always good to get the variety. We're going to get this Dash 6 right here for the U.S. Air Force, which is very cool. Not sure where this is based, but I didn't even know they had a green one like this, so I love that, especially for our military collectors. And the Ohio Air National Guard's KC-135 looks very sharp there as well. That's really cool. Same story for the Air Force 747-8 and BWIA 727. These are going to be nice offerings, and our upper scale collectors will really enjoy those. And likewise for, it's labeled 100 here, so I think it was just a typo above. So the Iran Air 747-100 and Mexicana E2, again, another very interesting, unique pair of aircraft. And then we got the Lufthansas. Once again, very happy to see these. In-flight's done, I think both of them at some point, but once again, very easily accessible, and that's what Gemini is really known for here. So and they'll do a great job with both of those. Those will both turn out really nice. And yeah, they'll definitely have their hand on both of these here. Again, I believe InFlight's done both, but it's great to get a version that is a little bit more affordable and also a little bit easier to get your hands on, especially if you missed the previous release, because I think some of these get pretty rare pretty quick. Definitely that Northwest, but I don't know if InFlight did this exact version, but I think it was somewhere in the realms of it, so do keep that in mind. With Pan Am, I'm pretty sure they've done at least once or twice within the last 5 years. Now we are going to get this Antonov 124, another gorgeous aircraft, continuing to maximize the mold. I'm so happy to see them, getting the variety in. I think that looks really nice, so my biggest applause to Gemini for the great selection. You got the EM Dreaming Qantas 77-9. Very happy to see that livery as well. It looks really great. And then a pair that we saw previously, the Southern DC-9. Though they have done DC-9s and 1-200 more recently, way more recently than the 1-200. So I think within the last couple of years. The latest example was the Allegheny this past March, and then they've done Midway, Ameristar, Bonanza, and a wide array of others. So great to see this coming up to 1-200 scale to join up with those aircraft. So they've been very active with this model 1-200, just not in 1-400. And then the UAE Air Force C-17, again, another very unique aircraft that we'll really enjoy 1-200. JetSet Models has some incredible model aircraft accessories. From cones, the buildings, the vehicles, JetSet Models has you covered. These accessories are absolute game changers and take your model airports to the next level. Use discount code CMAviation for 10% off your order. Be sure to check out JetSet Models and bring that realism to your model airport today. And then here's the previously mentioned Lufthansa Centennial 77-9. So these are great to see and very happy about this. It's going to be a really good looking aircraft. So definitely eager to get this one at some point, most likely, depending on sentimental value, how it turns out, those factors. So that'll be cool. I already have a bunch of Lufthansa, so being mindful. There are still a couple aircraft that are being cleared out from previous announcements. There's just a handful left. You got the Hornet right there, very similar to how Air National Guard. I love the tail on that, so that's great. It looks like it might be Oregon or somewhere, not sure. JetBlue A321neo, that will be happy to get there for that. And then they have had a couple of other cool aircraft already on here. The Helvetic E2 is definitely overdue as it came out in 400 scale. You also got the Eastern 727-100, which is 100% going to be a popular aircraft, so definitely excited to see that. Iceland Air Neo should be up anytime, and then another release of the Antonov 225, because how could you go wrong with that? And then lastly, this was announced previously, but a really big one that should be coming up sooner than later, the American Eagle Saab 340, which hopefully they'll do a 1-400 and blow everybody's minds. But yeah, Gemini continues to make aircraft that have been historically very rare, much easier to get your hands on, or at least the airline or aircraft type of the category. So very happy to see Gemini really diversifying their efforts. This is so cool. I'm not sure if this is coming out before or after the very soon October releases, but that video will be coming out soon. We'll see if they blow our minds there. But Gemini continues to do what they do best. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But nevertheless, that'll do it for today's video, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe. Trust the process. Do you love and love you do. My name's CM Aviation. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon as CM Aviation is signing off.